my sweethearts. It's your cosmic auntie here, coming at you with some late night full moon in Aquarius collective energies. It's also a blue moon. This is our second full moon in Aquarius, and it's pretty special. So the word that keeps really popping up whenever I ask to receive from the energies is revelation. I just keep hearing that word, revelation. So I feel like and then I get this visual. I get this visual of like legs standing between like the borders of communities or something like that, or like a Venn diagram. It's not necessarily clear, but what I do know is immediately when I see this image in my mind's eye is that there's like a straddling of sorts, but the direction that is being viewed is forward. So I hope that makes sense. Like, what kind of revelations are you having about chapters past and chapters beginning? And what are the revelations in this moment as you straddle that, for lack of a better words, straddle that like limit? Because there definitely feels like there's chapters that have been recently open that are now like closed, and there's like a retrospective energy when it comes to those. And so what are you learning about yourself from the things you've experienced thus far? And then what are you more clear about what you want to experience and what you're interested in manifesting and what you're interested in moving towards? What are you leaving? What are you keeping? These are things that we talked about last new moon. So last reading, where the energy was inviting you into finding out who you truly are. Who are you really? Who are you really though? And how are you going to move through life with that you at the forefront more? Like, what are you wanting to co-create with life with, in those inner standings of who you truly are? So revelation, it feels like, wow, the energy of this full moon is electric, right? It's in Aquarius. It's also the second moon in Aquarius. So there's definitely like, there's like a breaking through feeling, like there's breakthroughs happening. And I get the sense that it's like what you've already experienced, and then there's just like some answers, some revelations, some breakthroughs in regards to that. So super, super interesting. I'm looking forward to seeing what the cards have to say. So let's flip them over. Okay. Well, there's definitely some really deep reflection happening here. And maybe at this point, I sense that it's hard to know like what to do with it necessarily what you are finding out, what you are reflecting on, the revelations you are having about what you have experienced, who you are, and how you're going to carry your authenticity into the things that you are doing that both nourish you and by proxy nourish others. Aquarius is about collective energy. It's about collective healing, a collective awareness. The opposite, when the sun is in Leo, right? The individual within the collective. So, like, who are you and how can you shine you more? And by doing so, naturally benefit the collective, right? Because I sense that there's definitely a move, like there's a forward movement towards deeper commitment with the things that you are doing, the relationships that you have in your life, the relationships that you want, the work that you want to do, wherever this falls when it comes to like deepening your commitment to something, as I definitely sense that with the cards here. And just, yeah, like, it's super interesting because there's some confusion here as well, and at the same time, profound clarity. So that's interesting. It's almost as though there's things that I feel or sense that you're not ready to fully share yet, and that's okay, right? And there's like, I'm trying to figure out how to put these energies into words, but like, there's so many possibilities. There's so many ways that things can be taken in a way. Like, it's like the door is open and it's just this wide open space, and it's the first step out of the doorway, and you really could go in any direction. And that is both liberating and also intimidating, because there's this blank slate, there's these options, this opportunity, and there's also this little nagging voice that seems to be coming through, like, you might go the wrong direction. But try, if you notice that, if that resonates, like, try to be like, hello, yes, I hear you. And there really is no wrong direction. Sometimes you take a direction and you have to do a detour, or the GPS isn't working, or you get lost a little bit. But when you are lost, then you figure out how to locate yourself and what your surroundings are. So trust in your ability to navigate, the unknown, because you have done that thus far. So when you're reflecting on the chapters of past and gaining that revelation, those revelations that are coming through with this moon, and like throughout this time, I don't know, but the moon is a marker where, especially the full moon, where you can bring those revelations to light and allow what needs to be released, also to witness what has come to fruition, and how when things have come to fruition, there is a natural beginning again. So what are you bringing with you? Is anything coming with you? Is this I don't know. I mean, these are collective readings, so fill in your details how you see fit. But yeah, trust in your ability to deal and to create and to handle these new horizons, because there's definitely a lot of you are really leaving things that do not emotionally serve you in the past. You've been working on leaving those things. You've been working at gaining distance from those things that may have emotionally served you in the past, but no longer. These can also be things where you weren't emotionally fulfilled and you're moving into places where you want to. And in the present position is the Four of Wands, like this. I get the sense that a lot of you are ready for, deeper commitment, being met in what you're doing, being met with who you are surrounded with, and building a relationship with solitude as well. Building a relationship with solitude and making space in your life for that time to reflect, for that time to allow that, the pieces to settle, the, accountability that needs to be taken, the polite little ties up to the chapters that you're putting on the shelf, right? Or however you handle, like, kind of putting a chapter behind you. I just, really get the sense that you know that that's important to have when it comes to emotional hygiene, because there's still things within the heart space that I sense, and that in the cards as well, that are sad, and like we are living in an intense time as well when it comes to collective energy. We can't ignore like the rawness and honestly the horrendousness of like everything really, and so on a collective level, this is an intense time to be here, and it can be really disheartening and hard to, connect with the gumption that you do have to propel yourself into these new and healthier spaces. Because I feel on a collective level, yes, we are witnessing really violent times. And then also within the personal level, there may be things that still create a heavy heart, feeling for you when it comes to the revelations that you are having, right? Revelations aren't always like, they can be tough and can be centered around like why you're sad or why that hurt or things like that. And giving yourself the space to feel those things, to rest, to connect with your inner wisdom, so that you can put that light in your lantern, right? The hermit has some sort of illumination that they bring out of the pensive reflection and the time away, the rest time, to light the path, right? Please, my darlings, don't forget how, like, creative you are, really. Like, how creative you are. This is in your advice position, the Queen of Wands. When things are hard, right, it can be really helpful to tap into your creativity, and find your flow within that. And I think we talked about that in the new moon reading as well. Really paying attention to your creative process. And that can be how you even notice things on your walk. I think that's something we talked about in the last video. Like, right? What direction do you take? That's you listening to your intuition. That's listening to your senses and being like, I want to go this way, and then going that way and trusting that your guide and following through. And then whatever comes up along that way, knowing that you have the strength, the intellect, and the charisma to handle it. Interesting. It's like this real intention that I'm feeling, that this you a lot of you are wanting to see the internal vibe reflect the outer vibe and vice versa. You know what I mean? Like, really working on matching the inside to the outside and being surrounded by those who match your frequency, and reflect back, like a similar frequency and direction and appreciation, and leaving that which you don't feel supported by, encouraged by, and those groups and spaces that you don't feel that, like when you feel out of place, right? Or not supported or not allowed to be your authentic you. Like, these are all things that I get the sense that a lot of you are like, nah. And if you don't see that space, I get the sense as well that a lot of you are creating it, right? Getting back to that doorway to the vast unknown, the vast open space, the ability to go in any direction that you want, the ability to create anything that you want in that space, and how exciting and also somewhat daunting that can be, and where all of those kind of past, like, negative thought patterns or nagging internal voices, or even people and things that aren't allowing the growth that you have achieved. You know, you've busted out the seams. And when you think of repotting plants, you have to repot them because the pot gets too small, so you have to find a bigger pot. And then there's all this room for the roots to stretch out in, and it takes the plant a little while to get used to that room. So this kind of vast, multiple opportunities, is in your strength. So trust in this blank slate, and however you mark it there is no wrong moves, okay? These revelations are also about what you want to see in the world and how you want to be that. Interesting. Super cool. Okay, so let's turn over the oracle. We've got Butterfly Maiden, Transformation. And then we have Lemon Lime Dragon, Union. Super cute. So Butterfly Maiden, as you go through this period of change, it's natural for you to wonder if your future is safe. I'm here to assure you that you're part of nature's cycles of birth, death, and rebirth. To bring in your desired newness, you must first allow old parts of your life to fall away. These changes are to be celebrated, not feared. Give thanks for this shedding of the old. Embrace all of the lessons it brought, and then let it go. Be giddy with excitement at the newness of the gifts that are now being bestowed upon you, and let their magic surprise and delight you. Yeah, sweethearts. I know it can be overwhelming and overwhelmingly exciting because it sounds like and it feels like a lot of what you've been like asking for and co-creating with the divine for and working towards and putting a lot of energy towards, like spiritual energy, physical energy, resources, like all of it. Like it feels like it's like coming to fruition, and it's like, whoa. And it requires you to break out of old patterns, like those patterns that you've been breaking out of. This full moon, this blue moon in Aquarius is your friend in helping you really break into this next chapter and breaking out of those old patterns by providing revelation, aha moments. There's things clicking into place within you in regards to who you are, what you've experienced thus far, what you want, what you don't want. Yes, no, all in the ways that are appropriate to what and who you are, like what you're doing and who you are, and like healthy boundaries, all of these kind of things that I know that a lot of you have been working on. This moon is like your pal with helping you with that. So if you catch a glimpse of the moon tomorrow, even if you don't want to share these revelations with any other human being, you can share them with the moon. And the moon will help you bring them out. And I keep seeing like singeing. Like this moon feels like kind of lasery, right? Like Aquarius is very electric kind of energy, and it wants to kind of break out of limits in a way, right? It's also very studious. It's also very detail oriented with Saturn, right? And Uranus. But Uranus wants to break up anything that does not, like, that's kind of outdated. So this moon will help you singe away, cauterize those last, little scratches, wounds, and make sure that it's all going to heal properly and cleanly and all of that. So yes, Butterfly Maiden, you are experiencing enormous change right now, which brings great blessing. So let's move on to Lemon Lime Dragon. When the Lemon Lime Dragon turns up, look for someone who wants to partner with you. Union is the name of this dragon's game. Just like the lemon and the lime, there are some things that just go together easily. Be open to a joint effort coming your way. Also, it is an excellent time to reach your hand to offer friendship. These are the associations that will last you a lifetime. Don't look for someone just like you. Instead, find someone whose talents and energy complement yours. Yeah, that's definitely something that's really coming through the reading, like being really discerning about who you're with all of these inner revelations coming forth, that are informing you of who you authentically are and how you're showing up in the world as that, and being protective over this enormous growth and cathartic release and change that I sense that you have been working on and have been experiencing. So being discerning about who's around you and who matches your frequency and not exactly like you, like, but different, however the frequency is similar, right? There's a like-mindedness. And I really get with the cards here that that's something very important, right? Aquarius is about groups. And so it naturally is going to assist us in reflecting on the groups and the dynamics that we find ourselves in, what emotionally serves us, what doesn't, and how we're moving away from that and moving towards deeper commitment and being met by romantic partners, by friends, by work, by community, the collect, right? Like all of these kind of things. So interesting. I like that. I'm going to pull a couple clarifiers and then we're going to end for this full moon reading. So let's just see. All right. So, yeah, there's deep emotional revelations coming through about what you need, what you give, and what you feel, like really what you feel and how you feel and how your feelings feel within your physical body. Yeah, so I pulled these clarifiers because in this deck they have these things called the cosmic mirror. And you actually got it twice. We got it twice in this reading. So one in the subconscious energy that has been clarified by the Queen of Cups. And the second is in your blockages in the light aspect that is clarified by the King of Wands. So there's these emotional revelations revealing themselves, and I get the sense that it's kind of confusing and don't know exactly what to do about it quite yet, but there's like profound downloads, profound awakenings, like when it comes to your own senses, your own intuition, your own feelings, but then also more specifically in certain events and experiences, what are your feelings, and owning that and allowing yourself to have your own feelings and to really operate within that. And maybe that's really something that's quite new for some of you, and not knowing how to necessarily even articulate it quite yet. However, keep dropping back into the heart, even though there may not be verbal words or written words. Like it seems to be so big that it's hard to filter into just like language, because I'm having a really hard time. It's there. It's like this and it makes sense, but it doesn't quite yet. And it comes back to that threshold where I see a lot of you like straddling the threshold, being in that Venn diagram where the two circles are connecting right now, and being in this moment where the chapters that you've been recently experiencing, they're now chapters that are over. They're in the past. And there's this whole new horizon. And the cosmic mirror being in your subconscious and the internal, like there's a lot that's being reflected within you from like the cosmos. You know, we are the access to the entire existence within us, right? We're all a bunch of like energetic beings having this earthly experience, but the universe is inside and outside, and the connection is us, and life in general. But what am I trying to say here is that, like, yeah, we're all this expansive connection to the universe, or the universe is unto ourselves, right? So it can feel really overwhelming. That's what I feel, is that it's like super profound and there's not necessarily words yet, and that's okay. And then when it comes down here into your blockages, I feel Spirit saying, like, please don't forget, like, how capable you are and how adaptable and smart you are, right? When it comes to, like, I feel like there's some things in your world when it comes to the chapters that you maybe recently that have been recently present moments are now like chapters in the past. It's like your environment around you is like, it's not necessarily like adding up is what I feel, but the sense inside is the sense inside is that it's good. It's good, and you know exactly kind of where you're going, but you're just kind of like holding on because so much has changed rapidly, perhaps slowly, perhaps as well, or a mixture of both. And it's just like, okay, and perhaps that's where the need to really work on and move towards those people, places, and things that match this frequency that you are owning from your truth, and how you're moving differently through life that feels more authentic to who you are. And your connection with spirit, I feel, is so much more connected, because there's this like divine co-creation happening where it's like you knew that there's some things that needed to go, but I don't know exactly how to put it into words. I'm sorry, my loves, but I think if you resonate, you'll get it. You know that I had to go, but then when it left, you're like, it shook you up. There's, of course, feelings of sadness or disappointment or things like that, because we are complex beings. We're allowed to have complex feelings, but you know that it is time to move away with love and move towards something more committed, grounded, and willing to move in with a growth mindset, you know, alongside you, and vice versa. You know, like, you want to support people being who they truly are, and for you to get the same, right? So super interesting. There's one more actually that I want to maybe get a clarifier on. Oh, what was that? Okay, and it also just comes back to there's things that you're kind of just keeping close to your own heart right now. Like you're really just, I get the sense that a lot of you are really looking at like, yeah, what needs to be like shake loose, like dropped, and what needs more attention, and nurturing yourself and taking the time that it needs to birth these new ideas, these new concepts, this new directions. So, yeah, and that's okay, right? So if you want to tell someone, you can tell the moon. And if you're not ready to tell other people, like maybe your ideas or your plans or your dreams or your particular plan and direction with this vast new horizon in front of you, I feel like there's really close talks with Creator happening between you, each and every one of you, and Creator. There is this huge transformation happening, right? Butterfly Maiden. And I just posted something on my Instagram stories where it's like the chrysalis method or something, and it's like, first seek solitude, then like break down into absolute like nothingness, and then within like the rubble, piecing the important things back together and being reborn, right? So like the caterpillar into the cocoon, into the butterfly, there's this whole process. And you're not alone, but at the same time, keep being discerning about who's around you and who you feel most supported by, who you feel inspired by, and who you feel like fed around, nourished. Because I really get the sense that that's a really big theme with this full moon and the revelations that may be coming through for you. Yeah, I love you very, very much. And I hope that this was helpful in some way. I started this channel because I love energy, and tarot is a tool that I have really connected with since I was a teenager. And I want to design these readings to feel like you're going over to your favorite auntie's house to, shoot the shit and talk things through, So I hope that this is helpful. Once again, I do want to be of service in my own unique way as well. And this is one of the ways I am taking action towards that, and it feels vulnerable and kind of scary, but it also feels so right. And I get the sense that there's a lot of that happening in your individual lives, like these really healthy things that nourish you as well as nourish others. So bless you so much. I want to hear what you're up to. Feel free to leave a comment. Make sure to like this video, and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks for being here. See you at the new moon.